I'm Vicky and welcome to today's Pilates session. So today we're going to do a full body workout. So we're going to work our way through the body, do exercises to fire up lots of different muscles. So I hope you enjoy. We're going to start off in standing with our feet together, and then we're going to go toes out, heels out, so our feet are hip width apart. And we're just going to make sure we've got equal weight through the forefoot and the hind foot. So just gently taking weight forwards and backwards and coming to that midpoint, equal weight through both areas of the feet. And then just gently making sure we've got weight equal through both feet. So take your foot, weight through one foot and then back through the other and come to that midpoint, equal weight through both feet. We're going to keep the knees nice and soft, so make sure they're not locked out through the kneecaps. Then we're going to imagine that pelvis like a big bowl, marble at the bottom, and I just want you to roll that marble forward so you're arching through the lower back and then rolling backwards so you're lengthening down. So just do a few of those, feel how far you go in either direction. And we're going to come to that midpoint where that marble's at the bottom of the bowl. You feel nice and neutral through that pelvis. Good, well done. And then from there we're going to think about lengthening up through the spine. So really stacking the spine up one vertebra at a time, all the way through between the shoulder blades, through the back of the neck. So make sure your chin's up into the air. You're going to tuck that chin down and through the back of the neck, crown of the head. And just do a couple of circles, loosening off one way and then the other. Good. And then we're going to make sure that those collarbones are wide, a nice gap ear to shoulder. Good. And then from there, so we're going to engage through those core muscles, pulling up through the pelvic floor. So you're going to stop yourself from passing water mid-flow, or so you're going to stop yourself from passing wind. So gently pulling up underneath. Not a big full contraction, but just nice and gentle. Keeping those kneecaps soft. We're going to come into foot circle. So breath in. As you breathe out, we're going to come into a little squat. Lifting up through the heels. Coming up tall and coming down again. So breathe out, squat down. Breathe in, lift the heels. Breathe out, lengthen all the way onto your tiptoes. Breathe in, come foot flat. Breathing out. In, lift the heels. Out, lengthen all the way through. In to come down. Good, keep going. Keep the shoulders down, collarbones wide. Equal weight through both feet. All the way through and down. Good, work with your breath. Breathing out. In, out, and in. Good, well done. Keep going. Let's do two more. Good, last one. Good, and relax off. Okay, so from there you might want to hold on to something for this one. We're going to keep those feet hip width apart, keep the pelvis nice and neutral, soft through the knees, nice and tall through the spine, shoulders down. We're going to take one leg out behind us, other legs both out, other legs, also known as arms, both arms up in front, unless you need to hold on. If you need to hold on, then actually I would say if your right leg's behind, hold on with your right arm, so you've got right leg, left arm working together. So either both arms or opposite arm and leg out long. Soft knee on the left, core switched on, keeping that nice long spine. And then from there we're going to bring elbows and right knee together. Breathe in, lengthen all the way through. Breathing out, coming together. Breathing in, lengthen through. Keep those shoulders down away from your ears. If you want to make it harder, you can come more parallel to the floor. Coming in, lengthen out. You're keeping the pelvis nice and level, so make sure you're not lifting through that pelvis. Both pelvic bones at the front point down towards the floor, or both point forward if you're in that more upright position. It's hard work on that standing leg. Good, let's do two more. Last one. And relax off. Good, well done. I'm going to work on the other side. So standing on your left leg, keep the knees soft. Sorry. Oh, what's wrong with me today? Standing on your right leg, left leg out long. All the way all through the spine, fingertips up. And if you need to, then hold on with your left hand right fingertips up. Okay, from there, breathing out, into lengthen through. Keep that standing knee soft, pelvis nice and neutral, so make sure you're not twisting, lifting that left side up. And again, if you want to work harder, come more parallel to the floor. Keep that neck nice and long as well, so look directly forward and don't tuck chin in down towards your chest. So we're keeping our spine nice and long. Good, let's do a couple more. And one. Good, well done. And relax off. Good, nice, well done. Have a little loosen off through the shoulders. And then, so from here, we're going to come into skating. So again, if you need to hold on, you can hold on. Up really nice and tall, lengthen through the back of the neck, crown of the head, shoulders down. Maybe have hands on hips, so you're keeping that pelvis really nice and still. Bring the feet together. We're going to engage through the core. And then from there, just going to peel your right heel up, keep that left knee soft. And from there, we're going to bring it up in front. We're going to lower, heel to heel, keep the toes pulled up towards the knee, and then take that heel out to the side, in and up. Down, out to the side, but maybe just slightly behind you. So if you're coming out to 3 o'clock, you're going to come out to maybe 3:30. Coming up, down, out to the side, using that bottom muscle, in, down, out to the side and up, keeping the pelvis really nice and still. Good. Keep breathing. Really tall through the spine. Make sure you're not sunk down or curved down through the spine. Pelvis stays nice and level. Hold on if you need to. What I don't want is you to lift up through the back as you take that leg out to the side. So it's only a small movement. Good. Keep the soft knee on that standing leg. Shoulders down, neck nice and long. Good. Let's do 2 more. Last one. Good, well done. And have a little relax off. Loosen off through the legs. Okay, so we're going to come on to the other side. Feet together up nice and tall, shoulders down, neck nice and long, pelvis neutral. Keep those knees soft. We're going to engage through the core. Right knee soft as you peel the left knee up. Come up into that knee lift. And then coming down, keep the toes pulled up towards the knee, out to the side, in and up. Good. So we're making sure that when we come out to the side, you're leading with that heel. So no nice pointy toes, because that will make you arch through the lower back. We're going to keep the toes pulled up towards the knee. And again, so we're coming out to, rather than 9 o'clock, maybe 8:30. And keeping that pelvis really nice and still. Good. That control, core switched on, think about lengthening all the way through, shoulders down. Good. Good, keeping that control, keeping the pelvis really nice and still, lower back nice and still. We're going to do 2 more. That right knee soft. Last one. Good, and relax off through the legs. So we're going to bring those feet hip width apart again. We're going to come into our roll down. So I only want you to go as far as you feel comfortable with your back, so if you only go hands to knees, that's absolutely fine. Soft knees, pelvis nice and neutral, shoulders down and back, lengthen through the back of the spine. Engage through the core muscles. We're going to tuck chin into neck, and we're going to roll each vertebrae one at a time, down through the spine, keeping that lower pelvis neutral for as long as possible, really opening up through the spine. And when you can't go any further without tipping the pelvis, we're going to tip that pelvis forward and come into your forward fold. As I say, if you're here and then we're rolling back up again, that's absolutely fine. If you can come down, hands towards ankles, then that's fine as well. Just listen to your body, go with what feels right. Don't push through anything that doesn't feel like it's good for you. Stepping all the way up tall, we're going to go again, rolling through. So keep going, keep breathing. Keep those core muscles switched on. Really opening up through the spine. And then curling back up, one vertebra at a time. Shoulders down, neck nice and long. Back into a nice neutral position. Keep going for me, keep breathing. Do one more. And try to think about that spine stacking one vertebra at a time as you come up, pelvis first. Shoulders down and back, and all the way through. Okay, so from there we're going to come down onto the mat. So take your time, find a comfortable position for you. We're going to make sure that our feet are in line with our knees, hips, and when we come down onto our back, our shoulders as well. And then from here, we're just going to find our nice neutral starting position. So making sure feet, knees, hips, and shoulders are in line. And then from there, we're just going to lengthen through the back of the neck. So make sure you're not pointing your chin up towards the ceiling. If you need a small pillow, you can have a small pillow or rolled up towel underneath you. We're going to lengthen through the back of the neck. So you tuck that chin down. Imagine you've got a tennis ball in between chin and chest. We're just going to then make sure those shoulders are down away from your ears. So if you need to lift up onto your elbows, snuggle those shoulder blades down underneath the rib cage. Got that nice gap ear to shoulder, collarbones nice and wide. From there, we're just going to gently lift up through your hips, lower the spine down onto the mat. And then from there, we're going to imagine directly underneath your belly button, between your spine and the mat, you've got a marshmallow. Directly underneath your breastbone, between your spine and mat, you've got a 2p coin. And we're just going to start by squashing down onto them. So you're really increasing that pressure back to mat. And then we're going to keep the bottom and shoulders in contact, but arch away from marshmallow 2p coin. So you can just slide your fingers underneath your back. So squashing down, and then lifting up and away. And just feel how far you go in either direction. And then we're going to come to that midpoint, so maybe halfway onto that marshmallow, but you're going to make sure that breastbone's down in contact with that 2p coin. And from there, we're then going to engage through those core muscles. So pull up through the pelvic floor, so you're going to stop yourself from passing wind or gently passing water. And then from here, we're just going to come into our scissors position. So breath in, as you breathe out, we're going to float one leg to tabletop. Breath in, keeping that same pressure on that marshmallow. Breathe out, float that second leg to join it. Breath in, as you breathe out, tap your foot towards the mat. Breathe in, come back up. Same on the other side. Breathe out to tap, in to come back up. So keeping the foot nice and close to your bottom, we'll keep that leg load a little bit smaller. If you feel like you're arching off of that marshmallow, then pop one foot down, breathe out, and come back in. And just do one leg at a time. So if it doesn't feel right with both legs in the air, just do one leg at a time. If you want to work slightly harder, tap further away from your bottom and you'll feel you'll work your tummy muscles harder to keep that same contact with that marshmallow. Breathing out to lower, in to come back. Out to lower, in to come back. Keeping the neck and shoulders nice and relaxed. So if you feel like you're tensing through neck and shoulders, or you're not breathing properly, keep that tap slightly closer. And want to keep our arms light on the mat, so make sure you're not holding on with your arms. If you want to make sure you're not, you can bring your arms across your chest, and that will take off any help that we're giving with our arms without knowing it. Breathing out to tap down, in to come up. Good. Good, keep that control, shoulders relaxed, that same pressure on that marshmallow 2p coin. Let's do one more on either side, or enough to equal you up. Good, gently from there, hands onto knees, hug those knees into chest. Just a little loosen off through that lower spine, and then gently circling those knees over your chest, just massaging that lower spine onto the mat. Good, and then back in the other direction. I'm going to lower one foot to the floor, bring that other one down to join it. Good. Just make sure the neck's nice and long, shoulders are down, you're back onto that marshmallow, that 2p coin. Good. So from here, we're going to work on the hips a little bit. So we're going to keep the right foot onto the floor, nice soft toes and foot onto the floor. We're engaging through those core muscles. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, we're going to float the left leg to 90 degrees, so to tabletop position. Now you can either stay in this position, or if you're happy to, you can lengthen through that leg. If that means that that leg comes down slightly, you have a slightly soft knee, that's fine. And then from here, we're going to do a small circle. Imagine that you're drawing a small circle with your toe on the ceiling, but we're not circling the ankle. We're coming from the hip to make that circle. If you're in near 90 degrees, we're going to circle. Imagine a pencil from your knee up towards the ceiling and circling through the hip, drawing that circle on the ceiling from your knee. We're going to change direction of those circles. You might feel like it's a bit more of like a five-sided shape, got a nice pentagon going on up there. But try and make them as smooth as possible, keeping that right knee soft, pelvis nice and neutral, same pressure through marshmallow 2p coin, and trying not to increase the pressure through that left side of the back compared to the right side of the back. Good, last two, and one. We're going to bend that leg back to tabletop, and then lower the foot to the floor. Just make sure you're nice and equal through both sides of the back, through marshmallow 2p coin. Engage through the core muscles, breath in. As you breathe out, we're going to float the right leg to the 90 degrees, and you can either keep it there, or if you're happy to, you can lengthen through. And we're going to circle that leg round. You can circle from the knee again, or you can circle through that whole leg, but make sure you're not cheating, and we're doing circles with the ankles. It's coming from the hip. Imagine that leg's floating up. Keep breathing, keep the shoulders nice and relaxed, neck nice and relaxed, collarbones wide. Good. And then we're going to change direction of those circles. So remember, if you're with your knee bent at 90, you've got that pencil pointing up towards the ceiling and gently drawing those circles on the ceiling. Oh, that leg's long. And again, you might feel like one hip's got quite a nice circle and the other hip's again got a bit more of a kind of pentagon going on, but just shows how different we are. We load differently through the hips in our day-to-day lives. I'm just going to try and make them as smooth as possible. Good. Last two, and one. We're going to bend back to tabletop. lower down. Just have a little lengthen through one leg, lengthen through the other leg. Take your arms up above your head. Breath in, reach those fingertips and toes away from one another. Breathe out, sink down onto the mat. Breathing in, reaching away. As you breathe out, I want you to feel melting down. Good, one more time. And melting down. Good. Bring those arms back down by your side, bend one leg up and the other leg to join it, and then just come into that nice neutral position again, so equal distance between feet, knees and hips and shoulders. Coming onto that marshmallow 2 pence coin, lengthening through the back of the neck, shoulders down. I'm going to work through the upper abdominals a little bit now, so I'm going to get you to bring your hands behind your head, just interlock your fingers behind your head, elbows come nice and wide, keep that neck nice and long, and I really want you to imagine that tennis ball in between chin and chest. So you're not going to tuck chin right down as though you're holding a pencil in between your chin and your chest. You're going to keep that tennis ball type distance to make sure you're looking after the neck. You're going to gently support your head with your hands, but you're not pulling up with your hands. So from here, we're going to engage through the core muscles. We're going to think about working the upper abdominals. So we're going to imagine we're going to pull our rib cage towards our pelvis. So breathing out, doing a little lift, head and shoulders off the mat, shortening rib cage to pelvis. Breathing out as you come back down. So breathing out to lift up, breathing in to come back down. Good. In to come back down. And control back down. So nice long neck. Keep the elbows wide. Just support the head, but you're not pulling up. And it's not necessarily a big lift, but we're just imagining that shortening rib cage to pelvis. And as you do that, just imagine putting that belly button down towards your spine. Good. Let's do 3 more. 2. And 1. Okay, just relax your head down onto the mat. Allow your elbows to relax wide. So this time we're going to imagine that you've got a diagonal line crossing from rib cage to opposite side of the pelvis. And we're going to take rib cage towards opposite pelvis as we do a little rotational lift, just engaging those rotational tummy muscles a little bit more. Again, we're going to keep the neck nice and long, that tennis ball in between chin and chest. Elbows stay fairly wide, so I don't mind your elbows heading in the direction, but you're not pulling up and shortening through the neck to do that. So core switched on. And then from here, we're going to breathe out, elbow towards opposite knee, but more thinking rib cage towards opposite hip, and come back down again. Breathing out, I think that opposite diagonal, out to lift, into lower. Keep the elbows wide, imagine that diagonal line. Shortening rib cage to pelvis. Knees stay still. Imagine that tennis ball in between chin and chest. Good. Keep that control. Let's do 2 more on either side. Good, last ones. Good. Relax down. We're going to lengthen through the arms. Lengthen through the legs. Have a nice stretch through. Breathing in, reaching fingertips and toes away from one another. Breathing out, melting down into the mat. One more time. arms out wide, bend one leg up really nice and close to your bottom, bring the other one up to join it. We're going to bring feet and knees together. Keep the arms and shoulders flat onto the mat, just gently going to roll knees across to one side, keeping the shoulders flat. Just hold it there for 3 breaths. Good, one more breath in there. As you breathe out, bring those knees back to the centre. Breath in as you breathe out. Float the knees over to the other side. Keep the shoulders flat. 3 breaths in there. Good, one more breath in. As you breathe out, float those knees back through to the centre. Good, well done. Okay, so from there we're going to turn onto our side and then come all the way over onto all fours. So from here we're going to come into our thread the needle. So we're going to have hands underneath shoulders, knees underneath hips. Nice and long through the spine, and just have a little arch and hollow so we come up into that really nice long spine. Imagine you've got a tea tray balanced on your back. You're going to keep it really nice and long. So from there, so you're just making sure that you're not lowering and you're not twisting too much. Okay, so once you've got that tea tray nice and balanced, we're going to take the tea tray off, but we're going to come back to this position in between each repetition. Okay, shoulders down away from your ears, neck nice and long. Engage through the core muscles. We're going to take a breath in. As you breathe out, thread your left hand underneath your right. You can bend that right elbow, your shoulder and ear are coming towards the mat but not resting on the mat. Breathe in, coming back into that tabletop position with that tea tray, and then breathe out. Come right hand under left. Breathe in, come back into that tabletop position with that tea tray on your back. So we're thinking about coming back into that nice and neutral position. Shoulders stay away from ears, neck stays nice and long. Now you can either stay just doing this with the hands, and the threading the hand underneath and coming back up. If you wanted to make it slightly more challenging, you can lengthen opposite leg away. So you can either keep those toes just gently on the floor to give you a little bit of balance. Good. Coming back into that tabletop position with that tea tray. If you feel you've got the control and balance, you can try and lift the leg up. So you're really getting that rotation all the way through, back into that tabletop position. Lengthen the other side. Coming back through. Breathing out. And so find the level that works best for you. So if your foot's staying on the floor, that's fine. If you're just doing the arms, that's fine too. Let's do one more on either side. Good, well done. From there, just have a little sit back onto your heels. Reach those fingertips out long. Allow the forehead and breastbone to come down towards the mat, towards the thighs. Couple of nice deep breaths in. And relax that breath away. Good, one more breath in. Okay, from there, we're just going to do one plank. So you can either, I'm going to let you choose what position you want to do it in. You can either come onto elbows and just lift your knees. Just lift your hips so your knees stay in contact with the floor, keeping those elbows underneath the shoulders and staying nice and strong through the middle, making sure you're not sticking your bottom up, but really tucking down, using those glutes and those tummy muscles to hold you in that position. Or if you want to come into a full plank, we're going to lift up into that nice long full plank position. So your choice. If it feels too much for you, then you can even just come into a static swimming position. Maybe hold it for 5 breaths, and then controlling down and then holding the other side for 5 breaths. So if that feels better for you, like a better level for you, then go with that. So you want to come down, make sure your elbows are underneath your shoulders are down away from your ears, your neck's nice and long, and then taking a breath in, we're going to breathe out, engage through the core muscles, breath in. As you breathe out, we're going to lift up either onto your knees or onto your toes. We're going to hold it for 30 seconds. So keep breathing, the shoulders down away from your ears, neck nice and long. We're going to think about using that tummy muscle, so pull belly button up towards your spine, put your rib cage up towards your spine. Use those bottom muscles, so imagine you've got a tail, maybe tuck that down between your legs, so you're really working tummy and glutes. Keep breathing, good 5 seconds, and relax off. Nice work, good, well done. So from there, we're going to come back up onto all fours. We're going to come into our cat-cow stretch. So nice long spine, shoulders down. We're going to tuck chin to chest. Lift up through your breastbone, lift up through the belly button. Imagine you've got a tail, tuck it between your legs. Big curl through. And then we're going to lift the tailbone, lower the belly button, lower the breastbone, look forward, shoulders away from ears. Breathe out, curl through. Breathe in. Extend through the front, or lengthen through the front, extend that back. Shoulders away from ears, curling back down. Good. Lengthening through the front. Good, well done. From there, we're just going to bring our left leg in between our hands and coming up into a high kneeling position. So from here, hands onto thigh. We're going to just really tuck that tailbone down, so pull belly button into spine, push the hip forward. You should feel a stretch through the front of the hip. Stay up tall through the spine, so we're not leaning into it, we're really trying to open up through the front of the hip. So you can either hold that position, if you feel like you need more of a stretch, you want to get into the quads as well, you can bring heel to bottom, but just make sure from that position you're really tall through the spine. So again, don't kind of collapse into it. You're really opening up through the front of the hip. You should feel it through the front of the hip, down into the quads. Keep breathing. Good. And then from there, just lower that heel down if it's lifted. We're going to take your right arm up to the ceiling and over. So you're opening up through that right side. You're here, just really opening up all the way through. Keep that hip pushed forward, tailbone tucked under. You really open, stay open through the front of the hip. Good. Coming back up and over. We're going to do the same on the other side. So we're going to bring your left leg. No, bring your right leg up. I'm sorry, I'm having a tough day today, aren't I? Coming up nice and tall. Tucking that tailbone under, pushing forward so you feel that stretch through the front of the hip. So you can either stay in that position or you can bring heel towards bottom. So you just really open up through the quads as well, but make sure so you don't lean forward into it. Keep breathing. And then relax off through the foot if you need to. We're going to take your left arm up and over to the right. So you really open up through that left side. Good. And gently coming back up and over. I'm just going to come into sitting. You should bring your feet together. Now I don't mind if they're a little bit further away from you or whether they're tucked in, kind of go with what feels right for you. We're going to just try and stay up nice and tall. So if you're tucked right in, you feel you can't, you're curled over to allow that to happen. Give yourself a bit more space. Open up through the hips, lengthen up through the spine. And from there you can just gently lean forward from the hips. If you're already getting a stretch there, just stay there. But if you want to lean forward slightly and just gently rest your elbows onto your thighs to open up through the hips, you can come forward. Keep breathing. Good. One more breath in there. Good, and then relax the legs. It's coming up nice and tall. Legs went all the way through the spine, through the back of the neck, crown of the head. Couple of breaths in. And as you breathe out, relax those shoulders down. Good, breath in. Relax. Good. Good work, well done. So it's given you a complete body workout in a short 35 minutes. So I hope you enjoy, and I shall see you next time. Take care. Bye bye.